Discussing the top tracks from the artists we love. Top 5s with KXVU.
What's happening, people? We're back here once again on CubCamTV for another edition of Top 5s. I've got to say, I'm absolutely loving doing this series, and it's all down to you guys' support that we are carrying on doing it. So if you aren't already, please do make sure you are hitting that subscribe button at the bottom of the page, turning notifications on, and of course leaving a like and a comment on the video, because we have got an absolute scorcher for you today as we jump into the top 5 classic Alkaline tracks. So when I was putting this list together, it genuinely was quite a difficult task to narrow it down to a top 5 when we consider just how many extremely popular tracks Alkaline has put out there over the last 7-8 years or so. When you go back and look over his discography, it genuinely is something quite special to behold. So this list wasn't the easiest to do. However, I am very happy with the actual list we have managed to get together in the top 5 format. Of course, there may be some modern tracks which you guys want to have in your top 5, so please do make sure you're leaving your top 5s for Alkaline in the comments section down below. I'm genuinely really interested to hear who your top 5s are, and if there are tracks that I maybe have underestimated whilst putting this list together. So in number 5, we are going to get into this one. It goes by the name of Company, and wow, what a banger this one is. It goes back to that classic thing with Alkaline, that he is so good at writing catchy hooks. I think there aren't many artists in the world who actually have the same level of ability when it comes to writing those classic, memorable, super catchy sing-alongs that he seems to have on near enough every single hook that he puts out there. Is genuinely incredible. Again, this is one that came during that incredible period of those classic Alkaline releases, and I feel this one somehow gets a little bit overlooked when you look through his discography, but for me it does definitely stand the test of time, and that's why it sits at number 5 on today's list.
All me want right now is just some company. Nobody fi stress me, nobody will fi call.
Right then, we now move forward onto number 4 on this list of the top 5 classic Alkaline tracks ever. There are so many that could be featured on this list. Again, I want to reiterate that I really want to see your top 5s in the comments section down below. This is my personal opinion at the end of the day, and I'd love to hear yours as well. So at number 4, we're going for a track called Formula. Again, this is a track that really demonstrates Alkaline's incredible hook writing ability. We said it about the last tune, and we're likely to say it about each and every track all the way through this listing, because it's a theme that's so potent and for me really isn't spoken about enough when we examine Alkaline's tunes and the general vibe of what he puts out there. Those hooks are always so key and so killer in regards to making a classic dancehall or bashment banger, and he hits it on the head every single time. This track actually came at the end of that great run of releases, so when you look back over the catalogue to actually find a track which stands up to those incredible releases we're going to see further up this list, it genuinely is quite an achievement for anything, in my opinion, to be hitting this top 5 list. Again, that's why I feel this track may be one that is slightly overlooked when we look back over that incredible discography. The thing about this one for me that really gets me is that there's this air of professionalism about the way the track's been put together. He's there for a reason, he knows what he's there to do, and he executes the game plan perfectly, and that's why this one sits at number 4 on today's listing. Moving forward, we now jump into number 3 on our listing, and all I can say about this one is, if you ask me for a classic Alkaline tune, or indeed a classic dancehall or bashment tune in general, this is one that lands on the list straight away, and it is, of course, Champion. This one was a track that was released bang in the middle of that incredible classic period for Alkaline. It was a tune that genuinely took the world by storm. I was going to dancehall raves at that point, and there was just not a dance I could go to where I wouldn't hear this tune at some point in time. I was listening to dancehall radio shows, and this was getting played on every single show. It was such a global hit, and also such a game changer for Alkaline, because this track was a point where people went, okay, this guy's here to stay. He clearly does have the formula in how to put together a solid bashment tune, and he was just exploiting it every single time with some incredible results. For me, this possibly being the most classic and the most notable of them. Again, this one has a super catchy sing-along over a rhythm which a lot of other people did end up vocaling, and there's no way that any one of them stands out more than Alkaline's for me, which is why this one sits at number 3 on today's listing.
Man, shell on the goddamn boy. That's where everybody at the champion boy. Have a rich gal in the Hamptons boy.
So we're now jumping into the top 2 tracks on this list, and it's getting tighter and tighter each and every time. I feel a lot of people may actually have Champion at the top of their list, but again, this is a personal list for me, and I want to reiterate one more time how much I genuinely want to see your comments in the comment section down below, listing your top 5s as well. Let's make this a bit of a community event. So this one's likely to come as a bit of a surprise to a couple of people, as Scumbag sits in number 2 on my list. This was recorded over the boombox rhythm, an instrumental first made popular by Spice with How Me Like It, a incredible tune. And I feel a lot of the other cuts of this rhythm were somehow left behind and weren't really given the attention they deserved. The instrumental is incredible. It's one of my favourite dancehall instrumentals all time, and there are some amazing vocals over it, including 2 by Alkaline. So the 2 versions of Alkaline's vocal over the boombox rhythm were originally released in October 2013 and then January 2014, with the first one going by the name of Bruckout, which was the October release, followed by this one in January. And for me, this is a track that you can play in any dance around the world and you are going to get movement out of people. It's just a certified banger. It's a safe bet wherever you're going. And the way Alkaline applies his incredible vocal range, his incredible hook writing abilities as well, the flow patterns, the general arrangement of this one, it's a track that I will be playing realistically for the rest of my life, and that's why it sits at number 2 on today's listing.
Anyway, you take it, you got dead set speed. A funeral, a figure key.
Right then, people, we are now getting into number 1 on today's listing, and I'm so excited for this one. Realistically, there was only one track that could be number 1 on this list for me, despite the fact that there's a real kind of tightness around all the other ones. It is, of course, Fleek sitting in number 1. The instrumental for this one is truly incredible. It's soft, but it's also vibrant. It's intricate and also expansive in the way it's put together. There are so many elements in which this track is a perfect fit for Alkaline's vocal range. He's able to get that sort of gravelly texture of his voice without it sounding overpressured or imbalanced. The way he's able to manage the levels of his vocal with this one is absolutely perfect in my eyes. This is the most viewed Alkaline video on YouTube. It currently sits on 63 million views, and it's worth every single one of them. It's so catchy. There are very few things about this track which I don't like, and there are always things about tracks that I don't like. It's just part of the producer in me. But this one is one that I can find genuinely no fault in how it's been put together. For me, this was a game changer of a tune as well. It genuinely did change the way people looked at dancehall and bashment. It gave it a different edge. It gave it a more kind of softer, more experimental approach. And since then, we've seen people trying similar methods all the way through. The use of scales Alkaline brings to this one are truly amazing as well. The way he's able to move between those breathy, kind of gravelly vocal tones to the more hypnotic kind of back and forth flow patterns as the track moves and the instrumental picks up steam is why this one is so special. And to be honest, it's why there weren't ever any other tracks in contention for the number 1 spot for me. But we're going to get into this one now. It is Alkaline with Fleek.
Ooh, girl, you're something, no Fleek. Ooh, girl, you're something.
So there we go, people. That has been our top 5 for Alkaline. I want to reiterate one more time. Please do make sure you're leaving your comments in the comment section down below. Let us know your top 5s on this topic, and let us know if there are any other artists you'd like me to cover in one of these top 5 videos. I'm always keen to do them, especially if it's what the people want, and obviously I'm super excited to be... And obviously, I'm super grateful for all the subscribers that are getting involved in the videos and commenting at the moment. So thank you to each and every one of you, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
Discussing the top tracks from the artists we love. Top 5s with KXVU.